Hey guys, aloha. How's it going? So, I just want to first say thank you. Thank you guys so much for all the support on this Instagram, Grant Big Fruit. Thank you for, if you've checked out my other accounts, which are Grant Big Codes, which is in the description. And then there's also Grant Big Moves. So I have 3 accounts now. I'm focusing most of my energy into Grant Big Codes. So if you want to see this kind of content, go to Grant Big Codes. I'm not going to put these videos, things like this, onto this Instagram anymore. This Instagram is going to be specifically for wisdom on fruitarianism and fasting and just getting closer to fruit-based. You don't have to be vegan for me to talk to you or you to talk to me or anything. I'm just here to talk about my experience, my healing, sometimes my strength, but I'll guide you over to Grant Big Moves if you want to see that. If you want to see explicitly only unique fruitarian high raw vegan movement over there, go there. Yo. And so thank you again. Thank you for all of those who are following me along on this journey very closely, who have supported through the Patreon, through the PayPal, through the GoFundMe, through just messaging me and talking to me and stuff, I really appreciate that. Yeah, it hits the heart, man. So I greatly appreciate that. And I want to keep it up. I want to organize the content so it's here's a movement Instagram, here's the fruit, and then here's spirituality and light codes and 5D and ascension and stuff like that. And on my Grant Big Codes, I had 2 people on the live for 5 minutes each. It was kind of funny. It was alright, I guess I'm just saving this one. But that one is going to be where more personal stuff is going. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I slept in the woods last night. It was really fun to get into. I had to crawl through all these things. I had this huge backpack and then my other backpack, and I was rolling around and everything. It was an experience, that's for sure. So today I'm just gonna kind of wrap up things, and I'm gonna be alright, this is kind of where my spiritual journey has kind of led me, and right now that kind of is the call to go back to New Jersey, where my family and my friends are, and of course I have friends everywhere. Everyone is your friend. And from there, I really just feel like I have all the lessons that I could ever need at this time from Hawaii. I feel that it's taught me enough and grounded me and lifted me and pushed me around and shifted things in such a way that I just want to go back. I want to serve those in my neighborhood. I want to go back to Ewing and to Trenton. And if you've ever been there, you can tell it's not really the best area. But I want to help the people who are local to me. I want to go and talk to people about eating fruit. I want to talk to people and give them a coconut water. Even if it's in a can, it's just one ingredient, coconut water. Sure, it's pasteurized, but it's delicious, it's cheap, it's a way to connect to people. And that's part of what I've done here is I've given probably a dozen random people just fruit or coconut water and had conversations with them. And it's all about that service. Is if you're in this gift mentality, then you will also receive things. You will receive things that bless you so that you can give more. See, God and consciousness, the all, the collective, wants you to serve itself. And that's not just yourself, it's everyone's as a self. So, you guys. So thanks for joining. I'm starting to know about fast and raw food. Yeah. So I'm going to talk more about that in future lives, like specifically on fruitarian fasting, vegan, raw vegan, flexitarian. Like I said, you don't gotta be vegan. You don't gotta be vegetarian. It's just like, I just want to help you where you are, you know? Like, if you look at Dan the Man Life Regenerated, he just wants to help you where you are. Not everyone is at a place where they're choosing those things. But we can all increase our consciousness. We can all start to be more content and happy in our place where we are, you know? And so that's where Hawaii has taken me. Is like, I'm happy here. I'm gonna be happy at home because I know it's within. Again, I'm reminded. I remember it. Um, so I have a lot of stability at home. I have a lot of challenge here. Um, it's not just fruit growing everywhere. It's not that abundant in the sense that people often perceive and tell you about, like in the vacation pictures and the tourists. Like, it's not all that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not always going to be what you have been told it's going to be. It's going to be what your inner experience is reflecting. So everyone's going to have a unique inner experience that reflects, and that's attracting other like and polar opposites, and that's going to challenge you. It's going to Karma is pressure to conform. It's pressure to unify. So in that sense, you're drawing out those who are like you and those who are not like you. And so there's your choice to bridge the two. I've talked about this in the past. Is like, there's like such polar opposites in certain places, but that's just an illusion. It's like people don't want to accept that you are the same as them. So I'm the same as a carnivore, but we have differences. We have illusionary differences in things, and really the biggest difference is just seeing that, like, you want to be part of the whole. You want to be part of one being. You don't want to be separate from others. And for me, that's also where I find that I don't want to hurt another being. That's where I find ahimsa, or nonviolence, and just being, like, not doing anything, non-action, is very helpful to this reality. Hey, what's up? Yeah, and so all these things will help you. All these things will help you realize how unified you are. And so that is the spiritual journey, is the karma, the pressure to conform, to serve others who are like you and who aren't like you, and to go into that which you fear, and to bring that love. Because many of us are conditioned to fear things and to feel guilty for things and to feel doubt for certain things, you know? So if we go into how we can bridge those gaps and bring love to it, then we're going to get somewhere that Spirit is guiding us. And I'm going to talk a lot more specifically about the different ways that Spirit guides us on my new Instagram, Grant Big Codes. And from there, I'm going to give you just all the practical wisdom, the phronesis, as the Greeks call it, is just the virtue ethics of how did I learn what I know, and even if I can't express it through language, like, what do you know? We all know things that are practical. We all know things about how to live and how to love and how to grow, how to strengthen ourselves. And this is all just through experience. And so everyone has these different experiences, and we can come together and share that. And then through there, we learn how to be one. We learn how to conform to unify. So, I'm still in Hawaii, my friend. I'm gonna be in New Jersey in probably 48 hours, I think. On Wednesday night, I'll be in New Jersey. I booked a ticket. Thank you to my father, um, on earth and in heaven, because he let me book it through him, and I'm very grateful that I can come back sooner. But I should be coming back to Hawaii for a contract that my dad has here. So this isn't going to be the last of the adventures, but it's definitely a very important step. And yeah, like, I think also with understanding, overstanding spirit and how that guides us through life, you want to also look at your mind and your body and how they align. So I was talking about this in my live, which you can see I shared it on my Grant Big Codes. And I'll type that in too. Is I talked about how when I was studying philosophy at Rutgers, and also my stepfather's philosophy professorship, he always asked me these questions ever since I was like 7 or 8. He would ask me about, like, just how are you doing things, like, not just what are you doing, but how are you doing the Tao, the way, the why, the wisdom of those things. And it's not just about what you're doing, but it's really the way that you do it connects everything. Like, that is the spirit. And so just being open to those perspectives and considerations within every single thing that you do, that is having an open mind. And to also to see the yes and the no for both sides of any particular thing. To see, like, all right, here's a conservative, here's a liberal, to, like, say, like, yes or no on each side of each thing, but also to be like, hey, we could suspend our judgment, or we could ask a totally different question that reframes everything that they had ever asked. So there's like 5 or 6 options right there for any consideration of, like, reality out there. It's not just yes or no on one side, it's also yes or no on the other side. And again, can we reframe the question? Can we suspend the question and keep asking it over time? Do you guys get that? And you asked me a question. Yeah, I don't resonate with smoking weed at all. I'm fine at just living on fruits and sober. It's really that simple. For me, that's how I am. I don't need it. If you choose that you need it, then you will need it. But you don't need anything outside of you. So you can choose what you need or what is closest to you. But I choose to choose less and less over time. I choose to lessen the burden of things that I carry around with me and just enjoy being unencumbered, to be light, to be flowing through things. And I don't feel like I can do that when I'm caught up into, like, oh, I need weed to keep me whatever. I never smoked much, but, like, it just, even the little bit that I did smoke, it just never resonated with, like, I would do this every day. So I hope that you can find clarity with what you feel that you need and what you choose right now in your life, because everyone chooses a certain set of things that they feel are really important to them. Um, so yeah, I think choosing less over time is good. If you choose it now, that's fine. Um, and so with also going back to like having the open mind, open body, um, with the body, a lot of revelations that I've had have really been through that, because it's hard to explain sometimes how um, like the body just like feels things and how you think and how you perceive the world. Um, like you can do poetry, you can write, you can talk to a lot of different people. You could talk to one person in a lot of different ways, um, but truly, you have like a lot of potential to process it and to make sense of it in your reality. So to see like everything that I feel is a reflection of my past self and my present perception, and even what's on the horizon, what's in store for me, what's going to meet me halfway in this experience. So you want to meet things halfway. You want to meet your body halfway. You don't want to force it through workouts all the time. You don't want to like have your mind isolated and your body isolated. You want it to align. You want those things to meet together. You have the analytical and then you have the creative, and they meet in the middle. You have the masculine and the feminine, the north and the south. So having the clarity of what's going on in your body, feeling what's there, and not just saying like, oh, this hurts. Like, why does it hurt? And what is like the nature of this pain? What does it reflect elsewhere in your body, your mind, or your spirit? So like if you look at reflexology, if you look at these body maps of like different places you have a pain or a tightness or a weakness or just a sensation, those are all reflective of different emotions and of different organs and different things that you might be carrying around emotionally or in your mind. So if you go within your body and you explore that, as I have for the past like 3 years, kind of without labels, I do my movement practice. I mean, there's so many labels I put on it sometimes, but like it's natural movement, it's expressive movement, it's functional movement, and it's creative. So having those different frameworks to go within, um, and having like a movement canon, so to speak, like a practice of things that you apply to your body over time, that you start to learn about like this is what's going on in my body. This is the story that I've been telling myself through my body and through my projecting into the future, into other people and things, you know? So opening up the body is very, very beneficial to the mind and the spirit. And that's why there's yoga and there's Tai Chi and there's all these other practices, Qigong. And as you start to apply that, then you become just like so open to this creative outlet and never feeling stuck in a situation. Like you always can metaphorically map it out. And so you see it as like, oh yeah, I don't have to run into this wall that's actually a door. I can realize it's a door and go through the door. Like a lot of people are just running into walls that they don't realize actually open up, or they could just crawl over it or climb over it or under it or just knock it down. Sometimes you knock down walls. Sometimes you burn bridges. Sometimes you cut cords and connections with things and people. And that's okay. You just have to forgive yourself for the damage that's been done and to not regret it, to not feel guilty. Because if you feel guilty, you're still carrying that experience into the future, projecting it in a way that perception and that emotion is still affecting you in a negative way. Like, if it affected you when it happened negatively, that's cool, but just let it be there. Let it end there. You don't have to feel guilty for anything. Guilt is just perpetuating those situations which have created the guilt in the first place, if you really look into it, because people are just living in the fear that they're going to do that again. They're mistrusting themselves. And if you're mistrusting yourself, then you're going to mistrust others. And you're going to do things that reflect that, either the opposite side of how they mistrusted you, or the same side, and you'll do what they're doing. So you don't want to pass that on. Just let the emotion go. Hold space for it and go within and see, like, oh yeah, this is a valid emotion, a valid experience, a valid thought, and this is my intuition with it. Like, I can let it go, or I can move on, or I can maybe speak my truth to these people. So seeing those options creatively, because you can create within your body and within art or within other expression, that will grant you the beautiful and abundant light and wisdom that you so deserve. And we all deserve, because we are all reflections of each other. We are all divinely connected. So if you see that, hey, what's up? If you see that, then it's just all about realizing, like, you are on this journey, this path to higher health and truth and wisdom and power. And vulnerability is simply being able to be open to these emotions and these lessons, and then to go forth and to be stronger. Like, a tree starts from a seedling which can be easily trampled on and blown down in the wind. But it has to start in this very vulnerable place in order to grow into these magnificent beings that are huge and vastly interconnected with the air or spirit, and also the sun and the earth and the animals that make homes there, and just every being, all the water that comes and cycles through this earth. Like, that's all constantly flowing, and even the earth has a vibration, even rocks, things that seem inanimate. Those inanimate objects are truly vibrating, just as we are. They just have a different frequency. And it's okay for things to be different in frequency and form, but we can realize they're all the same. They're all connected. So it's just all flowing in between each other. And I could say that a million different ways, a million different times. But it's essential to realize, to choose that is your way that you see the world. And once you choose that, then everything starts to flow, just like nature does. And so we can flow within the matrix just as we can flow within nature. And a lot of us have to remember how to flow within nature. Like, I shouldn't be wearing this, and I shouldn't be wearing shoes when I'm in nature, because there's electric current that flows through the earth. And so that bare skin against it, that's giving me connection. And a lot of people don't remember, oh yeah, it's intuitive to be barefoot with the earth. It's intuitive to be bare-skinned in the sun. It's intuitive to also be in the shade a good amount. It's intuitive to do a lot of these things. Like, you don't think about it when you actually connect to that consciousness. You don't think about it when you connect to the consciousness of the abundance of fruits Like, these fruits are just for us to enjoy, to spread, to cultivate. And it tastes delicious. It doesn't have any side effects other than if you have crap in your body, then it'll detox you. So all these things are just remembering how we are connected, how we are intuitively growing and learning and evolving and descending together as one consciousness that is through many things. And there's a lot of great books out there. There's the book of Shuang Tzu. I've mentioned this before, and I've also made a post of it. The Aquarian Gospel of Peace. Check that one out. Tao Te Ching. The Essene Gospel of Peace. And get all 4 books because it's beautiful. And the, I just said the Aquarian Gospel. Thanks for the love. Or no, not the Gospel of Peace, but it says the Gospel of Jesus. And they say the Christ because it's actually anyone who is full of love as a message from God. Like, you could be considered a Christ. That Christ is actually a term that they used, not just for one man, but for any being that embodied that love in a way that taught humanity to go towards that. So I think that's good for today. I just kind of rambled on about spirit and mind and body. And if you guys want to check out my other live, it was a bit more personal talk about how I have evolved, and just going back to spirit, and that's on Grant Big Codes. So check that out if you got time today. Watch a few minutes. It's like 30 minutes, so you don't have to watch all of it. Just watch a few if you want. And I'd love that support. But yeah, this is basically going to be the last live video of this nature on this channel, or whatever. So I'm gonna post a lot more stuff on like fruits and detoxification and regeneration and rejuvenation and elimination of like all that crap within us. And like, we all got stuff to get rid of. Like, I you know. So it's all good. It's like we're all just learning to be more connected again, remembering how to be connected. And it's really a pleasure to share that with you guys. So thanks again, and yeah, peace out. Love, vision, and strength. Manifest that with fruits, service, movement, creativity, learning, playing, being, and fasting. Peace. Mahalo. And I'll see y'all in New Jersey probably next time I do a live. Thank you.